What if the reason your manifestation hasn't happened is not because God is not wanting for that to happen, or because you're unworthy, or because you're broken, but what if God is actually preparing you to become the person that can hold that manifestation? What if the reason your manifestation hasn't happened is not because God is not wanting for that to happen, or because you're unworthy, or because you're broken, but what if God is actually preparing you to become the person that can hold that manifestation? The relationship that you want, the new abundance that you want, or the business partnerships that you want. Whatever it is for you, what if it's not that you are not worthy of having it, or it's not that you're broken, it's not that it happens for everybody else but not for you? What if you are simply not the person that is able to hold it? And I always love to use the analogy of going to the gym. So let's say we go to the gym and I tell you, girl, we're gonna do 200 pounds on the hip thrust. If you've never done that, you're going to hurt your lower back. But yet a lot of us expect to hold more success when we're not really able to hold it. And in today's conversation, I want to give you some practical examples and tools on how you can actually become the person that is going to allow you to hold the blessing that you are praying for. And for those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Alexa, and the reason I started this entire series and podcast was to help other women become the best version of themselves. I know what it felt like to feel broken, unwanted, feel like I was broke, like I wanted to give my kid at that time, I only had one, the best life that I possibly could, but not knowing how to do it. And now I'm on a mission to just share all the insights that have allowed me and that continue to allow me to just become a better version than I was yesterday. And I think that's really the ultimate goal. I've talked a lot about how I personally believe that we have soul contracts, that God gave us the opportunity to experience what it was like to actually earn the favor of his grace, and we decided to come on this crazy journey called living on earth. And from there, we have decided, from the name that we carry, to the adversity we were going to face, to the kid or not having a kid that we were going to experience life through. And I genuinely believe that when we can change our focus of what we don't have to focusing on everything that we do have, we actually manifest some of the craziest, most beautiful blessings in our life. So I hope that everything I share with you guys actually inspires you to take inspired action and really embrace the gift that God has already placed in you. So with that, let's get into the conversation. First thing I want to get into is that God is not denying you, He's actually developing you. So this means that God is never late. He's never going to be early. He's always going to be right on time. And this is really where a lot of us sometimes ask, like, why isn't the manifestation happening yet? Why am I still struggling? Why do other people seem so far ahead? Meanwhile, I feel so behind. What if that's actually God's protection for you? What if you got the blessing that you wanted, and within a matter of weeks, because you didn't have, let's say, the systems to service the clients that you want, all of those clients left you because they were actually so disappointed with the service that you provided? Although maybe your product was great, but because you didn't have the systems, they saw you in a different way, and now your reputation is completely ruined to a certain demographic. Or maybe you want that relationship that you've been praying for so long, and you still haven't really received the person that you want. What if you still haven't become the person that you need to be in order to actually call in that person that would be excited to be around you? You see, this is the part that really fascinates me, and I'm going to be reading my notes here because I don't want to lose or miss anything that is valuable here for you guys. But sometimes when we go too quick, we actually end up harming ourselves. What if God gave you that husband, and because you weren't ready, you sabotaged it? Because you haven't worked on loving yourself, you were so insecure with this person that you actually sabotaged the blessing that he was trying to give you, or because of these clients that you were actually trying to manifest, all of a sudden you get these clients and within a matter of weeks you lose them, all because you actually didn't have everything you needed in order for you to truly service them at the highest potential. Sometimes we're praying for massive success, visibility, abundance, influence, but deep down internally, we're actually still fearful of money, and we believe that money is the root of all evil. And actually, it's the love of money that is the root of all evil. So loving money so much that you forget what actually matters. Or maybe you're sabotaging your opportunities without realizing that that is what you're doing. Or you're operating from survival, feeling like everybody is coming out to get you, when in reality, it's just your own nervous system. Or maybe you actually fear responsibility. I was reading this book by, actually I have it right here. Let me show it to you guys. The Psychology of Winning by Dr. Dennis Waitley, I hope I pronounced that right. But he talks about the mindset of like a winning person and like a losing person, a loser, he calls them. And he does get very specific about, he's not talking about losers. They're like underprivileged people that, you know, were born in very harsh circumstances. He's talking about the people that are losers by choice because of what they constantly focus on. They have so much abundance in the world, but yet they're always focusing on the government is coming to get them, that they can never get ahead. They're always focusing on how Betty and Joan have something better than them and how they're envious. That is a losing mentality. And the truth here is that these types of people are actually not afraid of winning. They're not afraid of losing. They're actually afraid of winning because of the responsibility that comes with. So a lot of the times, our own beliefs are actually the very thing that is keeping us from manifesting the thing that we actually want. And this is why I say that it is so important for us to actually become an energetic match to the thing that we want. You see, if you want somebody that's smart and funny and witty and adventurous in your life, let's say a romantic partner, but you're like this like boring person that never likes to go out, or that maybe is, you know, a hermit, you don't actually like to communicate with other people, or maybe you're actually like a very like mean person and you actually don't like to like show another vulnerable side of you, which we all have a side that is like more just soft and more in alignment, but because we've been again hurt or things have happened to us, we put on like this like grand wall of China around us, and that's basically the thing that we use to protect us. So all of these things are actually keeping us from the manifestation. On Luke 12:48 it says, "To whom much is given, much will be required." So that's like the saying that says, with great power comes great responsibility. And I want you to ask yourself, where in your life are you maybe afraid of being seen? You see, because I know, and I've shared this before, if again you're new to the channel, I'll talk about it a little bit again, but one of my limiting beliefs for a long time has been, I'm not a good communicator. And for the people that are actually like closer to me, they tell me like, what are you talking about? You actually are a great communicator. But because my own iOS is limiting me, I tell myself, no, there's so many other people out there that are much better communicators, that have great degrees, and like, what do I know? But the crazy part is that those people are going to speak to certain people based on their credentials, based on their God-given gift. I am going to be uniquely me, and I am going to talk to a certain demographic of people that are going to resonate with me, being a mom, with me having tattoos, with me being open to actually sharing my vulnerabilities. Other people are going to find that, you know, as signs of weakness. Meanwhile, other people are going to love that. You see, that's the beautiful part of understanding your own limiting beliefs are the thing that actually holds you back. So what I've started to do is actually be aware of what are the things that I am constantly telling myself that are actually holding me back from the manifestation that I want, from the person that I need to become in order to hold that next level of success. Now, the second point I want to go into today is that your current story is shaping your reality. So I want you to think of it in this perspective. Let's say you get into your car. I want you to answer. Do you usually think about like, oh, I need to fix the mirror and I need to put the navigation to where I'm going, the GPS, or I need to put my seatbelt on and I need to make sure that when the car in front of me is braking, I hit the brakes, and that when the car moves, I hit the accelerator? Like, do you think of all those things? Or are you like the majority that just go on autopilot and you already know what to do, right? You don't think of all these things. The crazy part is that a lot of us are on autopilot and we don't realize it. You see, most people actually think that we're stuck because of our experiences, but it's not actually the things that are happening externally. It's more so the things that are happening internally. So maybe you're always telling yourself, why am I always struggling? Like, why does nothing work out for me? Or people like me never succeed? Or why am I not smart enough? Or why didn't I not, have better parents that taught me things? Whatever it is for you. This is the thing about neuroscience. Neurons that fire together wire together. And if you know, I've talked about Dr. Joe's work for a long time. I highly encourage that you go and check it out. But he talks about how neurologically, when we're constantly thinking of something and we're constantly putting energy into that something, that is who we become. So this is why a lot of people, when they're trying to break a habit, instead of focusing on everything that they don't want, they actually focus on everything that they do want. So an example would be, maybe I'm looking to lose more weight, which is a real example. And I'm doing it because I love my feeling of a certain weight, not because there's anything wrong with a certain weight, because I feel the most comfortable at a certain weight. So I'm working toward that again. I'm actually doing the 75-day hard challenge. Let me know if you're interested in me doing a vlog about that. I'd love to. I've already been recording in case you guys are interested, but it's been one of those things where it's bringing me closer to the commitments that I need to do that are going to get me the outcome of the person that I'm choosing to become. And this is the part that a lot of us don't understand. The next version of you is not the same version that brought you to who you are right now. Let me say that again. Who you're trying to become is not the version of you that you currently are. So therefore, the person or the place or the circumstance that you're trying to experience is not the same person that you currently are. Therefore, you need to actually work on yourself in order for you to actually attract the person, the place, the thing, whatever it is that you're trying to experience, because who you are now is not the person that's going to manifest what you're looking to create. Now, the more that you repeat a thought, the more automatic that thought becomes. So in the example that I was sharing with you earlier about me telling myself I'm not a good communicator, because I would say that so much, I would get into these like moods of like, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to put myself in a weird position where I have to say something, because I know that I naturally already speak fast and I don't want to speak too fast to the point where they can't understand me. These are the parts that actually you need to embrace when they're happening, because that's the uncomfortable that is going to allow you to get to the point where you're comfortable. So last I checked, none of us grew up walking from the womb, right? Like none of us came out walking from our mom's belly. We actually had to learn how to do these things. And it was uncomfortable at first, but we learned through practice. A lot of the times we're so focused on what we're not that we forget everything that we've overcome. Now in Romans 12:2, it says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. For me, what this really means is that you need to be willing to let go of the old habits, the old personality, the old character, in order for you to really become the new version of you that is going to hold the blessings that you've been praying for. Now, this is the next thing. Faith requires movement before the proof appears. This is why I am a firm believer that anybody that tells you, you know what, you just have to stay in your room and sing incantations all day and say, I'm abundant, I'm abundant, I'm abundant, and do the scripting and the journaling and the affirmations and the everything, and you're not supposed to do anything, is lying to you. Because you need to take inspired action. It's like the equivalent to my kids telling me, hey mom, I want to join soccer. When my kid told me that he wanted to join soccer, I told him that he needed to show me good grades, that he needed to show me that he was responsible enough to have everything prepared for the days that he was going to have soccer. I set out a list of rules that he needed to follow. And if those rules were not followed, I was going to remove that privilege. It's the same exact thing for us in our life. How can you expect to enjoy the fruits of a labor that you have not actually sowed into? A lot of the times we live in a culture where we expect instant gratification. Like if you don't see an outcome the way or by the time that you want it, you automatically believe it doesn't work. But what if it's actually just allowing you, back to the reference we talked about with the gym, to become the person that can hold that weight? Because if I gave you too much too quickly, you would end up drowning and not actually getting to a point where you wanted to be in the first place. And I'll give you guys like a personal story for me, because when I decided to become an entrepreneur, for those of you that don't know, I have a real estate team in Texas, and that led me to surpassing my first 7 figures. Then I got inspired in 2023 to start my podcast and do my whole coaching that I do with helping women become the best version of themselves. That led me into actually creating digital products and starting to help other women scale their business and actually start a business that is tied into their God-given gift, which I later called her God-given gift. And that's like a new project that I've been working on. And I share this with you because at the beginning, I didn't know all the risk when I started real estate. I didn't know all the failures that were going to happen, especially my first 2 years. I didn't know all the things that could go wrong. And because I didn't know all of the things that could go wrong, that was actually a blessing in disguise, because the majority of people that you ask, they will tell you real estate, again, depending on who you ask, they're either going to tell you it is great and it makes you so much money, or they're going to tell you don't do it, it sucks. But the truth is, it's the perception of the person. If the person hasn't been doing the work, if the person hasn't been doing the connections, if the person hasn't been doing the follow-up and actually giving value to their community, they're not going to eat. But on the contrary side, somebody that is actually always worried or aligned with helping and servicing people and doing the work to learn more about marketing, doing the work to learn more about social media, doing the work to make sure that you're actually staying ahead of the knowledge that needs to be implemented in real estate, is going to actually end up being very successful. So why is that relevant? Because I would have asked somebody when I first started in my business, hey, like, should I do real estate? They would have probably told me all the negative things that would have possibly actually kept me from following that path, which would have actually been a disservice to me and my family, because that has been one of the biggest blessings of my life. How are you sabotaging your abundance? By asking the wrong people. What are you doing about actually just having unconditional faith and saying, you know what, even if this thing doesn't succeed, I tried. And even if it doesn't happen the first, second, 10th, 11th, 100th time, as long as I know that I'm working in alignment with the gift that God has placed in my heart, there's no way that I'm going to give up. Because eventually at the 101th time, it is going to end up working out in a way that I could have not even expected. And this is the thing that a lot of the times happens. In our life, we are so worried about asking the person for advice in a relationship and how we should operate, when in reality, that person just wants to see you miserable the way that they feel about themselves. Or maybe you're asking for somebody that is a 9-to-5er, hey, should I start my business? And because they're so afraid of starting the business on their own, they're like, oh no, you shouldn't do that. There's no money in that. That's going to be a waste of your time. Stop taking advice from people that you wouldn't trade places with. That's not to say that you cannot learn from a CEO just as much as you can learn from a trash can man or a delivery guy or whoever it is. I believe that you can learn something from everybody. But I also believe that you should be very careful with who you're taking advice with, because that could actually be the thing that's actually stopping you from taking the steps that you need in order for God to put you exactly in the place that you need for your manifestation to happen. Number 4 here is a big one. And this is something that has really, really shifted a lot of things for me. So it's a really, really personal one, which is stop being the victim of your story. And I think for me, for the longest time, I really believed that everything was happening to me. I believe that I felt sad about the fact that I didn't have my parents in my life. I felt sad about the fact that, I had gone through, trauma in different ways. I felt like the victim of my story. And this is really something that blocks a lot of your manifestations for a couple of reasons, but personally, one of the big reasons is that you're operating from a lower vibration. And typically, when you're looking for everything that's going wrong in your life, you will continue to find more confirmation. This is why they say whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Because we have this little thing called the RAS, the reticular activating system. And what that does is if I tell you right now, hey, look around your room and look for all the things that are brown, right? And if you do that right now, you're like looking. And then I tell you, okay, tell me all the things that you saw that were black. Chances are you're going to tell me, I didn't see anything black. I was focusing on the brown. That is what happens in your life. When you're always focusing on how they hurt you, if you're always focusing on how they left you, if you're always focusing on all the negative things that have happened in your life, that is what you continue to manifest in your life. And this is where a lot of the times the victim mentality is like, why is this always happening to me, right? Life is so unfair, or other people have it easier, or I'm never going to get ahead. And yes, life can absolutely feel painful, but the moment that we actually take ownership, everything actually starts to change. Now, ownership is not blaming yourself. Ownership is simply realizing that you have the power to respond differently, to react differently, to understand differently. Now, it says on Proverbs 23:7, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And for me, that means that what you're constantly vibrating at, what you're constantly thinking about, that is who you become. So if you're always looking at others from a place of, I don't have anything, poor me, cry me a river, then it's like God is looking at you like, my dear, you have so much abundance, like you're healthy and you're taking that for granted. And then you see them later in life get sick and all these things start happening that just continue to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, you are not going to control like the circumstances of your life. Like that is something that I even struggle with because I am a very much a controlling person. Because of my upbringing, I like to control as much as I can because I believe that that gives me autonomy over how the outcome is going to happen. But it's all in my head, right? Because actually control is just an illusion. So the only thing we can actually control is our response to the things that are happening in our life. Your habits, the identity that you're choosing to continue to become by the habits that you're continuing to do. So if my car got a flat tire, I can sit there and be like, oh my God, my life is horrible. Or I can just say, it's a flat tire. Hey God, this too is good. I don't know how. Maybe you just saved me from a semi truck, smashing into my car on the freeway. I don't know, but you know what? I'm going to believe that this also is good. This is the blessing in disguise because you start really aligning with just a mindset of gratitude, which really allows you to start becoming the person that can actually hold your manifestation. Now, the last thing I want to leave you with is becoming that person that can actually hold the blessing. Now, manifestation is not just about attracting the thing that you want, it's actually becoming the person that can hold the thing that you want. So, because your identity, okay, is what is currently creating who you are, right? Your habits, your morals, your character, everything, that identity. And identity basically comes from like your paradigm, right? A series of events that have happened through your life that have almost habitual control over your behavior. So the things that you don't really think about, right? Like, do you like ketchup or not? Do you like meat or not? Do you like the color pink or not? Like, these are part of your identity, but they come from beliefs that you've held on to since you were a child. So I always like to use the example of maybe you see somebody with, green hair and you're like, oh, I hate people with green hair. It looks so tacky. But what if subconsciously the reason why you actually don't like the person with green hair is because they represent a free version, like a version that maybe when you were a child and you wanted to express yourself in a certain way, your parents said, ew, no, people with green hair are ghetto. People with green hair look ugly. People with green hair are whatever it is. That is actually beliefs that you start holding onto that are actually holding you and are keeping you from understanding that that identity that you're looking to manifest is actually, again, all pre-programmed in your subconscious. If your identity stays the same, you will unconsciously sabotage what you have prayed for. So I'm going to give you some examples. Money without discipline is going to disappear. right? If you start getting a lot of money and then you stop doing the thing that got you a lot of money, it's going to eventually go away. Or maybe love, right? You wanted that relationship, but you didn't really heal the wound of your ex. Now you get with this new person that is actually amazing, but because you're still focused on the toxic ex, you actually sabotage it because you believe that everything that the ex did to you, this person is going to do to you, although they're not the same person. But because, again, of your identity, you're still thinking it's going to happen all over again. Now, visibility without confidence is actually going to create anxiety. So you having more views and more followers, you still wanting people pleasing or still having people pleasing tendencies is actually only going to create more anxiety. Or opportunity without preparation is simply going to create more overwhelming situations for you. Now, if you don't actually raise your goals, you are going to fall from the identity that you're trying to create. And what this means is the goals, the standards, the boundaries that you hold is actually the thing that is going to create that new identity. So when you are still hanging out with the people that you know you shouldn't be hanging out with, when you are still doing the thing that you shouldn't be doing, having the habits that you know you shouldn't be doing, those are all part of the identity that is still going to keep you with the manifestations that you've had up until this point in your life. Now, I want you to take some practical action steps here. The first thing is I want you to start doing like an audit. So what is the identity that you're currently holding on to? And I want you to write this down so that you can take some time to journal. The second thing is, what is the story that you constantly repeat, like daily? Whether it's I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm unwanted, I'm not a good communicator, whatever it is, I want you to write it down. Then I want you to actually understand what are the habits that reinforce that story. So for example, if you have the habit of eating a lot at late times of the night and you know that you're already overweight, maybe that habit is something that you need to become hyper-focused on and self-aware of. Now, 4 is, what would the future version of me actually do differently? And last is, what action can I take today to get me closer to the version of me that I am looking to create tomorrow? This is really where, if you can understand that all of these things tie in together, this is what helps you actually create the reality that you want. And it's not so difficult. It's just conviction. It's staying devoted to something that you personally know is going to be what is in your best interest. And when you start taking that approach, I promise you, everything is going to change. Now, I am going to be having a new product, like I mentioned earlier, that is going to be her God-given gift. I'm going to basically be teaching you girls how to use your purpose, like your God-given gift, and turn it into money. I've been able to actually create digital products that have actually brought me money on autopilot. I created one product and from there I sell it and now I get residual income, which I believe is just amazing. And I personally feel that God has a message for every single one of us, but we just haven't learned how to actually understand either the gift, or we know the gift but we don't know how to monetize the gift, and we feel stuck. And sometimes you feel like you need to continue to go and do your 9 to 5, and maybe for some of you like an extra $10,000 a month would be such a blessing. Even $1,000 a month would be such an extra blessing. I want to help more women do this. So if that is something you're interested in, go ahead and either join our school community. I will be having more announcements on that there. Or by the time that we have the, course put together, we're going to be doing it as a live format. So I want to have like a workbook, and then you're also going to be having like an actual live session with us. And I want to do it like in a group setting to help more of you actually implement your funnels, implement your automations, implement your low ticket offer. It's going to be amazing. So be on the lookout for that. And again, if you join our school community, which all the links will be linked down below, there will be more information there. So with that, I just want to say thank you. Thank you if you stuck around up until this point of the video. I genuinely do these videos with trying to pay it forward, because I know that all the things that I shared with you are the things that continue to help me and continue to bless me in ways that sometimes just seem so surreal. So if nobody's told you this, I hope you know that you are loved, you are worthy, and that you absolutely can manifest anything you want. I'll talk to you on the next one.